Factology. Here we upload videos about new technology, inventions, new gadgets, and future ideas. So if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do so you don't miss any new episodes. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you 10 facts about new Samsung's Gear S2 smartwatch. 10. When looking at the Gear S2, it's obvious that Samsung has learned from its past successes and failures. It's much more wearable than their previous attempts, it looks good, and it's comfortable. More importantly, the updated Tizen OS has been perfectly tailored to a smartwatch screen, with perhaps the best user interface I've seen on a smartwatch, making excellent use of the tactile rotating bezel. 9. The company's Gear smartwatch ran on a customized version of the full Android OS, but since then, we've seen the Korean OEM take a different approach to wearables through its own Tizen OS. Built from the remains of Nokia and Intel's failed MeeGo OS, Tizen is made by Samsung and Intel, and over the past few generations of the Gear smartwatch range, we've seen the platform evolve considerably. Now in the Samsung Gear S2, we have a flagship wearable that showcases just why Samsung opted to use Tizen instead of Google's Android Wear OS. 8. When designing wearables, companies seem to take one of two approaches: aim for the sporty look that is unmistakably a smartwatch, or aim to blend in with the luxury watch segment. Some aim to straddle both approaches, and with the Gear S2, Samsung has done just this. For those wanting all the rugged features without trying to blend in, the Gear S2 is exactly this, complete with its silicone band. For those who want a luxury smartwatch, the Gear S2 Classic has a leather strap for a traditional quartz look with the addition of some very smart features. The silicone bands use a proprietary connector to connect to the stainless steel body, and this means that you can't really change the design of the watch. The lack of traditional connectors means Samsung has been able to remove the lugs that are present in a more conventional design, which some people like, but I find disconcerting. 7. The main body of the Gear S2 is made from stainless steel with a home and back button on the side, which let you interact with the OS in many different ways, and a heart rate sensor on the back. The key feature that sets the Gear S2 above many competitors is the unique rotating bezel around the display, which rotates with a reassuring click and is used to interact and navigate throughout the smartwatch. 6. The Gear S2 sports a 1.2-inch Super AMOLED display with 360 by 360 resolution that offers 302 pixels per inch density. It's an excellent display. It's vibrant, easy to read, and even in direct sunlight, it still remains usable. A particularly nice feature is that while the display doesn't support auto brightness, you have the option to set a minimum brightness level, and the display brightness will automatically increase to a higher level depending on the amount of ambient light. 5. The smartwatch feels pretty nice on the wrist, has a noticeable but manageable amount of weight, and fits in with almost everything you're wearing. It manages to be unassuming, yet functional, and compared to some very odd choices on previous Gear smartwatches, the latest from Samsung finally gets it right. 4. A question many people have asked is whether the Gear S2 has a GPS antenna, and the answer is somewhat complicated, as it depends on which version of the smartwatch you have. The Gear S2 is available in Wi-Fi and 3G variants, and if you opt for the latter, it'll come with an eSIM and speaker, GPS, and a larger battery. The lack of GPS may be considered a downside by fitness fanatics, but the Gear S2 somewhat makes up for it, as you're able to add songs to the 4GB internal storage and play them directly to your Bluetooth headset. This allows you to leave the tethered phone at home unless you need GPS mapping, and Wi-Fi support means that you can continue to use the Gear S2 as a standalone device. 3. The biggest improvements with the Gear S2 over past Samsung smartwatches is that it is now compatible with any Android smartphone running Android 4.4 or later, and will soon be able to connect to the iPhone as well. When used with non-Samsung devices, you are required to install a number of Samsung-specific applications to get everything to work, but the experience is almost identical to when paired with a Galaxy smartphone. 2. When you're working out, SHealth is able to record your heart rate and display it in a rather cool graph, and of course, all the data is synchronized right back to your smartphone as well. The Gear S2 smartly measures your activity levels and gives you helpful prompts to get moving when you've been idle too long. As someone who often spends long periods at a computer, the prompts to move, which are usually around an hour after you've been idle, act as a rather useful reminder to take a break. 1. Under the hood, the Gear S2 is powered by a 1 GHz dual-core processor and 512 MB of RAM. Those specs may look somewhat perplexing on paper, but are in line with the current generation of wearables, and it's more than enough to keep the experience running along nice and smoothly. Previous Samsung Gear smartwatches have displayed a certain degree of lag with use, but despite adding music to the storage, apps to the smartwatch, and having lots of unread notifications, the Gear S2 is seemingly infallible. The ability to marry the hardware and the software means Samsung has been able to deliver a smooth, carefully thought out user experience that doesn't require the latest hardware. The Gear S2 costs $299. The original version we're using here, with another $50 to $60 for the cellular version, or $349 for the Gear S2 Classic. At this price, it's equal to the current crop of Android Wear smartwatches and definitely offers a rival experience. So I hope you like the Samsung Gear S2 facts and this video. To see more Samsung Gear S2 specs, you can go to my description and click on Samsung Gear S2's official website link. So that's it for today's episode. Please do not forget to like and share video.